Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Kashif Boothe podcast. If you're new here, each week I sit down with the guest and we discuss their career so far, the highs, the lows, what they've learned, and what's next for them. Today's guest is Natasha Adams. You may know her as Filmmaker Tash. I've known Natasha for, I think, like, how
I
long have
think
we known each other?
two
Two,
years.
3 years?
Yeah,
Because I remember I first heard of you in like 2017. Because I knew, yeah, that's when I first heard of you because I had seen Growing Pains. And then I think we
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
started like just becoming acquainted with each other in
yeah,
2018. And then we met at Screen Nation Awards officially
yeah,
in 2019. Yeah, it felt
yeah.
like I knew you
Didn't you,
forever.
didn't you beat me that day? I'm sure you did.
No,
Um,
I lost that day.
oh,
I lost. We both lost.
oh, we both.
We
Oh,
both
okay.
lost. We both lost. I won the year before. So I won in
Oh,
2018.
okay. Well, I haven't won you.
You will win, two-time nominee, so it's coming, it's coming. And I want to give a disclaimer to the listeners: we are recording via Zoom, so if you're going to be criticizing the audio quality, it's a pandemic. Think about it, okay? Think about it. So yeah, if you know who Natasha is, as she goes by social media as Filmmaker Tash, she is best known for her two-time award-nominated web series, Growing Pains. She's done how many short films? Listen, this girl has everything on Amazon Prime. Hasn't Growing Pains has been like also on TV. It's Younger on
Yeah,
Younger TV right now, still seasons one
yeah,
to
yeah. Good
three,
on there. Yeah,
and you've
it's
got it
going
coming
on
on there.
Channel U next.
Channel U. If you know, guys, Channel U's coming back. So excited to watch that. So make sure you tune in and watch Growing Pains on there. So yeah. So if you guys are new here, this is the first season of my rebranded no, podcast. I'm so used to talking about
Same.
web series. Where and in the first season, I'm interviewing all Black female writers, directors, producers, and with this podcast, it's all about giving a platform to filmmakers who I know who are talented, but I don't feel like get any recognition or aren't in the right light. So first today I want to start it off with Natasha. So how did you get into becoming a director?
So first of all, thank you for having me on here. Because like, to be honest, like, you know what, you were one of the first creatives that showed love in a was friendly, I would say. Like, I feel like when I first got into it, which I'm going to get into in a second, that not many people were like, oh, another creative, it wasn't like a friendly atmosphere. I think that you stood out because you was the only one that was really showing love in a positive way. Everyone else just kind of looks and sees you as like, I don't know, a competition or something. It was weird. But so let me start from the beginning. So my background is nothing to do with film. I'm actually I train athletes. That was my thing. Like 2017, life before 2017 was all about gym, was all about fitness. And then I got pregnant and life took a turn. So I was always like writing short like films, I would say, but I never really knew what to do with them. So they were just like were on my laptop, just collecting dust kind of thing. And then so I had my daughter and there was a few complications, and long story short, she got sick and I was no longer able to work in the gym. So let me go back a bit further. So what I decided is when I found out I was pregnant, I actually decided I was going to try and film something. Because nobody was letting me come on sets and gain experience. Everyone kept saying, you need experience. And I was like, I'm trying to get experience, but nobody's kind of letting me come on set. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a camera. How hard can it be? I'm going to do it myself. And I kind of, I put out a casting call on, I think at the time it might have been a Facebook group or something like that. And loads of people turned up. I was actually overwhelmed because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of figuring it out as I was going along. And I needed 5 people. And I found my 5 people that day. And I just was very transparent with them. And I told them that I didn't have a lot of experience, but this is my vision. This is what I want to happen. And they were kind of new actors, actresses. So they didn't mind kind of coming along and us working all together as a collective for this goal. So we as I finished casting, I found out I was pregnant. That's when I found out. And then I said to them, like, we have to get this done in 6 months before this baby drops. And it's quite funny now, but at the time, it didn't seem really real because I was still very slim. So, but as the season was getting filmed and I was getting heavier and heavier, and I was the only one holding a camera, I didn't have a sound man. I didn't have this, I didn't have that. So when people cast the audio, yeah, it was just me. And I was new to this, and, you know, I learned along the way. So I just got into it basically because I wanted to see something that I would watch on television or YouTube. So I decided to try and make something. And it was through making it that I realized it is hard. There's lots of challenges, but without me kind of taking the plunge and deciding to film myself, I don't think that I would have ever started, because it was kind of, once I put that casting call out and saw the response, I was like, okay, I have to finish this. I can't just be like, guys, I'm scared now. Like, I had to keep going. And it made me who I am. So I don't mind.
See, I like that journey because I think not enough filmmakers really talk about the struggle and like how it is to learn by yourself, because within this industry, like you said, they're always saying, oh, you need experience, and it doesn't really make sense as to what you're saying when you're saying to somebody who wants to gain experience that they need the experience.
Yeah.
The industry, I feel like they don't really have patience. That's just what it is. They don't have patience. They want somebody who's just going to know what to do, and that's it. And that's why I feel like it's more difficult for Black people, Asian people, people of color to get in more, or they're hesitant to do it, or they've done it, or they've tried to do it and they're turned off because of that. Because the industry is more about who you know. The more you get, once you get into the industry to a certain level, you see like how it's the CEO's best friend's goddaughter who's coming in. It's like, oh, this girl doesn't have experience, but because it's come through a connection, that's how she's got it. And that's just what it is. She doesn't have experience. So that's her gaining experience immediately. And then she's already got a leg up on you. And the thing is, she might just change her mind. I met so many girls in the industry, and it's like, oh, I don't do this anymore. I want to go traveling. I'm like, but wait a minute, you're taking someone else's spot who really wants to be in this industry. And that's just what it is. And that's why sometimes the independent route is a lot better, because you can create your own experience. Now, look at where you are now. You've been directing pilots, you're doing all different kind of stuff because you built it yourself. A lot of people can criticize and say, just like what you said about, oh, with the sound in your first season and so forth. I had the same thing for my web series, and it's like, yeah, I didn't have the budget. You know, not everybody has the budget and stuff. It's easy for you to critique when you're not the one doing it. And that's what it is. But you've persevered. Look at you now. Okay, you've got 3 seasons and stuff.
That's not easy. It's like, that's what I mean. People are really brutal online, and that can knock a lot of people. I remember the first time I saw like criticism under one of the episodes, and I thought, Jesus, like, whoa, like I didn't, like I wasn't even prepared for that. I was just on a mission, and I was thinking, I've got to get this done, I didn't even think about things that would happen after it was done. But it is what it is. Like now, like I said, like nothing really, I don't even pay attention, but they're still watching. So that just, whatever.
Exactly. As long as the content is good, most people don't really care about that. It's just a select few who feel like they know everything about film and TV who want to criticize you. Because I always use Issa Rae as a reference. You know, her web series, Awkward Black Girl.
Yeah.
Hilarious, brilliant, iconic. The production quality, terrible, but the content was there, and that's the most important thing. The content was there for your series, and that's why it was successful. Look at your numbers. Like, I look at your numbers, I'm like, damn, I wish I had those numbers for my web series. Like, you know, you've got that following. So yeah. So when you look back at your career, like, what would you say at the moment? What is the best thing or the worst thing about it? Like, what would you say?
The best thing about it is like meeting people like you, that like when you make connection with people, it's good because they understand. Like my friends, they don't get it. Like I can moan to them and say, oh my God, today this happened. But if I was to go to you, you'll be like, I've been through that as well. I get it, you know, because we're in that situation. So it's great meeting people, and the sad part is probably the bad part about it is that sometimes you feel like just because you're this small fish, your content doesn't get the acknowledgement that it probably should because you're not popular, or it doesn't feature a famous person. Or so it's like sometimes I sit there and I think I've got to really detach my emotions from this, because I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into every project. And because I'm such a small fish, it's just not being seen by the masses. It doesn't mean it's crap. It's I don't have money for big marketing campaigns and stuff like that. So that part is really frustrating, but we persevere and we'll have to keep going.
Exactly. And I definitely understand that, because it really is about persevering through all of it as well. And that's why I like to mentor other people as well and be like, okay, well, this is what you can do next, this is what I did, so you don't have to make the same mistakes, so you can get on a quicker fast track. And I think that's the difference. I think the best thing for me is, like you said, um having peers in this industry, but also just enjoyment. Like, I really enjoy what I'm doing. I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, this is
Yeah.
it. Like, there's no turning back. I can't just decide, oh, I'm gonna do something else. Like, it just be, yeah, like I wouldn't know what to do at all. Exactly. So, like, can you share a time where you had to overcome like a difficult situation during your career, like whatever project it was, and how did you learn from it? Like, how did you grow from it?
I think if I'm honest, it's been difficult all the time, like nonstop. It's not when you don't have money, it's difficult. Okay. Money opens doors. Okay. And I feel like Growing Pains, as it like, there's 3 seasons currently out. By the third season, I would say it became harder because, you're asking some grown adults to, like, I personally, I didn't, nobody on Growing Pains got paid. Okay. We're all in it for the love. And sometimes, the motivation to keep everybody motivated to come and film for free, which I'm not getting paid either, by the way. So everyone is doing it for the love and just hoping that this is gonna, become something. So I really did try, and although they didn't get paid, uh, like in cash, for example, that they were able. So when there was interviews, that they were able to use that interview and tell their story, give them a platform. I really wasn't. I only came on interviews when really I had to, because I'm not really about being in the camera. I'm quite shy. Um, but I found it quite difficult to keep the morale and keep, like, it became like college in a way, like, because they were like brothers and sisters and I was the mom, and it just became like there was a lot of, I don't know if egos were growing. I just found it really hard to just keep going by myself. I felt like if I had a team, there'll be certain things that maybe I wouldn't have to hear, or it just felt like everyone was offloading everything onto me, and I'm having to, like, there's loads of you, there's only one of me, there's only so much time there's only so much I can do. So I found it just quite difficult. But there's nothing that actually like stands out in my mind in all the projects I've done. I would just say that, when you're independent, it's a rough ride, like the whole way through. People just see the end product and think, oh, that must have been, taken a couple of days. It's not that simple. And I really like let's go back to these people that are online and having comments and stuff. Like, you try it, see if you can even do a 5-minute web series. It's hard. So I just really want people to understand that everybody has their ups and downs, and and just to like give us a break,
And
maybe be more positive and share it. How about that?
exactly. But and as a black woman in this industry, as a director, how do you find it, or just as a woman in general, how do you find navigating through the industry? Because me as a black man, it's completely different. So how, as a
Yeah.
woman, how does it feel like when you're working with people, or because I know your mother, you're in a relationship. Like, how does it affect that as well? Like, as
I feel like I'm not like, I mean, I don't, I feel like people see women as like, not like, they'll be surprised that I was the person that made Growing Pains. They'll be surprised that I've done what I've done. I look young, I'm Black, I'm a woman. I've kind of got all these things that they might think, oh no, I couldn't do that. And I feel like if I was to write an email and just pretend my name was something else, they would take me a lot more seriously. I feel like, I don't know why girls get it harder. I don't really understand why. I remember having I was in an interview with another creative, and this person, he was just so rude to me. I won't mention names. He was so rude to me. But then when I was with my boyfriend and he saw me at another event, he was like a different person. And I was like, why? Is it because I'm with him now that you have to be a bit more respectful? And I thought that was quite interesting. I just think that the industry is very cliquey. And like you said, it's about who you know. And I think that people should be careful of that, because everybody has their like 5 minutes and you don't want to burn bridges and things like that. So I think being a good person in general is just get you through doors. But be careful, because, you know, everyone has a memory. Like bad news travels a lot faster than good. So just be careful and bear that in mind, because right now, I know I won't stop. So all these people that might have disrespected me, you know, screwed me over in their way or whatever, it's going to be a time where you're going to regret that. And I'll just leave it there, Kashif.
But it's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's funny, like I've had so many stories of like people who were, let's say, presenters, or they were quite high up in the industry at one point, and they used to treat somebody who was at an entry level position really bad, and then now that person's at the same place as you, and now they haven't forgotten what you said or how you treated them. And so you have to be careful who you disrespect or who you treat while they're on their come up. So
for example, before I did Growing Pains, I reached out to a couple of people. I said, can I come on your set? Just trying to gain experience. They were very, very quick to say no. Growing Pains comes now, the first season, bit iffy. Second season, I'm finding my stride. I get an email. I'm like, are you for real? From the same people who actually, and that's what makes me laugh. It's like, do you think that now I'm going to be responsive, or I'm going to like, I have feelings just like everybody else. Like, you know, it's just funny. So be careful. And that's the one like thing that I really take with me. Like, no matter what, treat everybody the same, because, you know, people come and go in this industry, and you never know when, you know, don't burn bridges. It's just silly.
Exactly. And for everything what you've done so far, what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received?
Probably from Steve-O the Madman. I met him, and he said, just be you. And he said that remember that everyone you meet won't necessarily be them. So sometimes people will see the potential in you, and they'll just like kind of cling on to you for their gain. So just like remain humble, keep your feet on the ground, and remember why you started. And I thought, that was good advice. And he didn't even need to give me that advice. It was like within our first conversation. And I thought, why did he say that? But now I understand. So yeah, that was the best piece of advice.
That's really good advice. That's really good.
It was.
Someone like him as well. Like, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. And if I met somebody today, I don't think I would say that advice. I think I'll leave it for the second conversation. But okay. I am grateful that he said it, because it's so true. I've met a few people that it kind of felt like they kind of wanted information, and the moment they got it, I never told it to them again. Mm-hmm. So it was good advice.
And what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to get to where you are now? What advice if they're starting out, like what kind of advice would you give them?
I would say study the industry. like, yeah, because I didn't know about, you know, how important mics were back in the day. Study the industry, ask for advice, seek help from people who may be where you want to be. Um, and yeah, just be a good person and just network where you can. And make sure you've got a plan, like where do you want to be next year? And then you work towards that. I kind of work by goals. I kind of yeah, I need a goal and then I figure out how to get there. So that's how I work.
I like that. I like that. And who are some of your influences? Like, well, whose work do you look up to, or you want to like, achieve or create something similar, or in your own way?
I mean, Issa Rae is obviously.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that everybody's gonna say that, so I don't want to say her. I don't want to say
But she's just she's like the creme de la creme. She's just
she
like,
is, but I don't want to say her now. So I'm gonna say Michaela Cole, in the sense that obviously I don't want to be an actress, but in the sense that she kind of she's not really a fame whore or anything. She just like, I like that she lets her work speak for itself. She kind of does what she does and gets out. Like, I like that. I think that's really endearing that she's trying to keep her privacy, and her business is her business. And when she arrives, she has arrived. And, you know, her work just says everything. So I'm going to say Michaela Cole. And now everybody else is going to say Issa Rae, and I'm going to be the only one.
I mean, Issa Rae is a great option, but I think Michaela Cole is equally as great because, I mean, the work she did with Chewing Gum and I May Destroy You, I mean, she's so talented, and I know there's more to come.
So I was thinking about this, right? So, you know how obviously everything you do, you're going to put your 100% into it. But I really think the timing of I May Destroy You was really good because Chewing Gum was like her way just to like get in. Mm-hmm. And then she was just like, okay, I'm here now. This is what I'm about. And then she just killed it. Yeah. And for that, I think I like that. I really, yeah, I respect that.
I agree. Sometimes you have to play the game. Like, you have to play the game. Like, there's certain things, like for me, like with my web series Nate and Jamie, for example, I'm keeping that alive because I know that to me is more likely to be commissioned first because of the content and the concept of it. And then once I get in, I can do the shit that I want to do. Do you get what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not really a comedy person. I kind of fell into comedy. There's more hard hitting stuff that I want to do, and I can do that next. So yeah, sometimes you just got to play the game, get your foot in the door, and then just ride it until you get to where you want to be. And that's what it is, in my opinion, anyway.
I feel like it was during the first quarantine back in March that, you know, when life kind of like forced everybody to slow down. It was only then that I was like, okay, everything's stopped now. Like, I kind of felt like when I was doing Growing Pains, I was on like this kind of treadmill that was like, okay, season 1's out, you promote it for a certain amount of time, then you start filming season 2, same thing. Like, I was on this like treadmill. And then when the world stopped, I was like, okay, what is it I want to do? What kind of direction? In terms of playing the game, what needs to be done first, second, like, do you know what I mean? So I definitely think quarantine for me, lockdown for me has been probably really, really good and just a time to kind of figure out things and what I want to do next.
I think that's a good point you made because I had that in 2019 actually, because I had finished second season of my web series Nate and Jamie, so I was burnt out. So I had done the first season of Nate and Jamie from the ending of 2016 into 2017, and then we finished that summer 2017, and then 2 months later, I was already casting and scheduling for the spin-off series Imperfect. Started shooting that in November 2017. Finished that in January 2018. Then started started shooting Nate and Jamie season 2 in May of 2018. Finished that in July 2018. Then started prep for Imperfect season 2 towards the end of the year. So I'd say about September I started prep for that to start shooting in November 2018, but then things just kept getting pushed back. I can't remember why. I think it was like actors availability and stuff, and
Yeah.
then yeah, and then it just started to get really tough to make it, and then I just felt burnt out. Like literally, I was planning the web series Newlyweds, which is my upcoming one, which is another spin-off. And like I was literally just burnt out because I was just one, two, and then Imperfect just wasn't going anywhere. It was just to the point where just like whatever. Then actors started to drop out because of their availability or whatever. And I was like, just like, you know what? I need a break. I needed a
Yeah.
break. I just needed to stop. I had projects that I was doing here and there, but it was just at a very slow
Mhm.
pace. Like it wasn't like it needed to be done in 6 months. And then I started traveling unexpectedly, went to film festivals in America and all this stuff. This was not my plan that year. 2019, I was supposed to be busy. Like I was supposed to be going like one, two, and it just literally everything shut down. And that
Mm.
was the best thing for me because I was able to reevaluate my career because I got
Yeah.
into a film festival in New York. I went to that, went to New York, and I was like, the energy, the drive, mad. Then my friend told me, oh, let's go to the American Black Film Festival. I was like, what? What? I don't know what this is. Saw how amazing that was, went there, and you're just more inspired. So I was able to reevaluate where I wanted to take my career. And that was great. So 2020 was supposed to be like, yeah, okay, cool. I got all these connections now abroad. And then world stopped.
Correct.
And then it was just like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel like 2021, I feel like because I was able to do like a little bit of projects like Talia Versus. I don't know if you saw that pilot.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was able to navigate and see like, okay, I can actually do this. And like,
Hmm.
okay, cool, this is how I can adapt in 2021 and still be able
Hmm.
to get my stuff done. But COVID willing, still could mess things up. So we positive vibes only.
Yeah.
And so lastly, what's next for you?
So,
What you
I
can say.
mean, COVID is like a lot of. I've written 2 feature films, but COVID is here. So right now I'm working on smaller projects that I can get done a bit quicker. At the moment, I've been focusing on a lot of my films that are like under 5 minutes, and I want to do a season. It's not like this. When I say season, I'm saying I want to do about 5, 6 small films under 5 minutes, all different topics that I can film very quickly, just to keep me going, and yeah, putting content out while I wait for this virus to kind of die down. So that's me really. I'm also writing a lot. I'm trying to really focus more on television. Film's great, but I did get more of a buzz when I was doing Growing Pains. So a series format on television though would be amazing. So yeah, I'm kind of like talking to a lot of people on Channel 4, ITV at the moment, but again, that's not easy because I haven't got an agent. So there's just like a lot of doors, barriers and stuff like
Breaking
that.
down, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that, sometimes when I get emails and stuff, they don't know that I'm not represented. So I don't know if they assumed I am, and they often are very surprised that I'm able to produce content as much as I am. So if you feel that way, me having an agent really shouldn't stop the process as far as I'm concerned, but it's just the game and the way it is.
If they really want you, they could recommend an agency or reach out to someone, say, look, we really want to work with her, but she needs representation. Like they can go that extra mile if they wanted to, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So it's just an excuse.
So I am currently, looking for representation.
So hit her up. Okay, drop your email address.
I'm just trying to just like work on my writing and make sure that's sharp as well, because I do a bit of everything, the writing, or like my film, the production side might be strong in something, I want to make sure that my writing is strong, because if the story's good, that's what people want. The sound could be terrible, but if the story's good, then that's what is important. So yeah, that's what I'm going to focus on in 2021.
Good. So where can the listeners find you and your work? Like what's your,
Okay, so like Kashif said, a lot of my films are on Amazon at the moment. However, you can find it on YouTube. I'm on all social media platforms at Filmmaker Tash, Tash. So at Filmmaker Tash. So yeah, you can find me.
Great. Well, thank you for being my first guest on
Thank
my
you.
podcast, my rebranded podcast. I feel like it was great having you. I feel like this was a good interview. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, so stay tuned, guys. Follow me on social media at Kashif Booth or at the Kashif Booth podcast. And yeah, stay tuned for more episodes coming soon.